2-year long-term review of the AUDIOLABS 6000A. Curious where I am at with this Class AB amp after 3 years of listening? What has changed in the past 2 years? Well, hi and welcome. I'm Hunter Gray and this is Hunter-Gray-LUV-Music. I started this channel because I want to help you reach your hi-fi happy place. Because to me, music is awesome and it's important. Listening to my favorite music is super important to me. Listening to music grounds my daily life. And that means I want my music to sound beautiful when I play it. So that's why we're here today. We are here talking about hi-fi gear because your hi-fi gear and my hi-fi gear helps or hurts how the music that we love sounds. Now, you might want to take a quick look down below in the description where I pasted from Meta's large language model, LLama 3.1, some technical foundation as to why and how Class A amps sound different when they are used as a part of our signal path. Some prefer that sound, and some don't like the impact that sound makes. Your mileage may vary, as they say. So maybe you'll enjoy slowing down for a few minutes and just watch and enjoy while we have a chat about my 2 years with the AUDIOLABS 6000A Class AB integrated amplifier. So let's take a look at the specs. This is a $1,200 list price amp. It's an integrated amplifier. I paid $1,000 for it at Crutchfield. This is my only what I consider an all-in-one solution in a box amplifier. This means I may use this amp in a way that is different from some of you. And that's okay. I'm a big tent kind of guy, so you can do it your way and I can use my gear my way. But I can only tell you about the way that I have utilized this amp. And of course, for me, the truly valuable detail that I can share with you is my experience of listening to this amp on a wide variety of loudspeakers and on music of a wide variety. And if I can describe to you how this amp sounds compared to different amps, I think that's the real value that I can share with you, because the info on how it sounds to me as I have listened to this amp over the past couple of years is that information, how it sounds to me in my listening environment, that's not listed on the specs on the website or any website. Maybe now I should also talk to you about my preferences for separate components versus boxes that, in my opinion, are jack of all trades and a master of none. So I have a bit of a disinclination to this style of amplifier in terms of being an all-in-one box solution. I like to have the freedom to choose each component of my signal path. I enjoy doing the research and I enjoy learning. I enjoy shopping for the best price to performance value for each piece in my signal path. I enjoy deciding where in the signal chain I think is the most important to invest my money for improved performance, or where I feel it's okay to save some money for a check the box, quote unquote, performance. So that is my preference. Your mileage may vary, as I mentioned. So now let's briefly walk through the specs here, okay? Over on the website, 50 watts per channel into 8 ohms, 75 watts per channel into 4 ohms. I don't really care about frequency bandwidth and total harmonic distortion specs. Class AB amplifier. It has built-in DAC. It's an ES Sabre DAC 9018, which is good, but not their top of the line DAC. Some people have a preference for AKM or ESS Saber DAC or dual Cirrus Logic. I think I've heard good DACs from all those. I actually have quite a few SMSL VMV DACs that use excellent ESS Saber DACs. So this one has a 9018. But as I was saying before, I set this up not using the built-in DAC. I set this up so it's routed. I'm using my own SMSL VMV D1SE DAC, or I actually love putting my Chord Mojo 2 DAC as the DAC with this. The detail retrieval and separation that I feel I get when I use the Chord Mojo 2 as the DAC with this AUDIOLABS 6008. I really like that pairing. But I used for the first month or so when I had it the internal DAC, but as I said, I like to choose the components in my signal change, so I do not use this DAC. It also has Bluetooth built in. I've never used Bluetooth because I stream over Wi-Fi to WIM Mini or a WIM Pro, and then I'm not getting the sound compression and lossy Bluetooth over Wi-Fi. I'm using Tidal Connect, and so I go input into this from the WIM into the SPDIF digital audio connection. And let's see, it has 4 line level inputs. So let's actually take a look at the back here. Now, I had forgotten. This is both wider than I remember and it's heavier than I remember. I do want to point out while I've got it on the front, a full-size 1/4-inch headphone jack. It says it has its own headphone amp, but it does not give anywhere I could find any specifications on that. I used it a little bit. Sounds good, not great, but I have other headphone amps that I much prefer, so I don't use this really for headphones. This thing is heavier than I remember it. All right, on the back here, you've got phono, moving magnet phono input. This is the pre-out, so this is a full bandwidth pre-out. This is what I use to go into my KEF KC62 sub. You've got 3 auxiliary inputs, and I don't remember what this is. I use actually the auxiliary 2, I think. I don't do phono because I stream. And then these are, I don't use this. And I go into the SPDIF optical input here. And I don't use these either. Don't use that. You'll notice it matters to some people. There's no HDMI input. I'm a 2-channel stereo guy. I'm not using this for TV or home theater, so I don't give a rip about HDMI input. So this is getting heavy. I think that is enough on specs, the inputs. Like I said, maybe HDMI is significant and important to you. It's not to me. I do care about my amps if they have some sort of pre-out or line out or subwoofer out. This does give me that capability, and that's important in here with the KEF LS50 Metas because I like running them with the subwoofer, and so that works great for me. Let's see, is there any other? Yeah, how much does it weigh? Because that thing was 18 pounds. It feels heavier than that. 3-year warranty, almost 18 inches wide, 17 and a half inches, 3 1/16 high. I think it looks good. I chose the silver, but beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So All right, enough of the specs. I think what I can bring to you is, what does the Audiolab 6000A Class AB amp sound like? Well, it sounds beautiful, but it doesn't sound sexy. Let me explain. You probably have some awareness that this concept of what we perceive as physical beauty is based on symmetry of a person's face. The more symmetrical, the more a person is perceived as beautiful. Now, would you agree with me that beauty and sexy or hot are different? For me, I'm well aware that the world considers Gisele Bündchen and Scarlett Johansson, for instance, as two of the most beautiful women in the world. And I don't disagree. They are clearly beautiful. It's just that to me, those two women are not hot. Give me Selma Hayek, Eva Mendes, Sofia Vergara. To me, those women are sexy and hot. My point is, symmetry dictates beauty, but not sexy, not hotness. Sexy is something different, and it's clearly more subjective than beauty. And yet, I think you'll agree with me, it's very real. Now, back to the Audiolab 6000A Class AB amp and how it sounds. When I listen to this amp on really good speakers with an excellent ability for detail retrieval and soundstage, I cannot hear any flaws or anything missing when played on this amp. It reminds me of looking at Gisele or Scarlett Johansson. There's no flaw in their beauty. There is no flaw in how this amp makes speakers sound. In fact, when I listen and I can't find anything missing or lacking, nothing. But when I flip an A/B listening from this amp to, for instance, my Black Ice Audio FX10H with EL84 tubes, or my SMSL VMD A1 solid state Class A amp, now those same speakers are not just symmetrically beautiful and flawless, they're sexy, they're hot. They now have that something special that I want. Now, the music, when I listen with those Class A amps, has that something extra, that's something special, that's something sexy, to continue the metaphor. And you can look down in the description for how I queried Meta's large language model, LLama 3.1, and it describes technically what creates this in the sound when you listen on a Class A amp. And I also asked about the difference between a Class A tube amp, and it describes that down in the description. So take a look. So does this mean that after 2 years, I don't like the Audiolab 6000A Class AB integrated amp? Not at all. This is a fantastic amp. It does what it's supposed to do. But in my opinion, you have to understand what it is, both in terms of its role that it can play on how your speakers sound, and in terms of its sort of all-in-one box solution, because it, for $1,200, it does things that I'm not using it for. I'm just using it as a Class A power amp. So is this the sound that you were looking for? That's up to you. It may be. Is an all-in-one box solution what you're looking for? This does what it's supposed to do beautifully, perfectly. Now, I need to tell you how I use this amp and why I keep this amp around, and I think I always will. It accomplishes its mission at a very high level of what it's supposed to do. But I want to point out something. Part of the human condition is that human beings have an incredible ability to, maybe it's a survival ability, but human beings will adapt to our situation that we are in, good or bad. we will adapt and normalize. And what we regularly experience becomes normal. And that's a defense mechanism, I think. So I think generally it's a good thing. However, what this also means is when you achieve the sound you are looking for and that you love, regardless if it's your sound is like my sound or it's different, if it's the sound that you love, once you achieve that with your hi-fi system, when you listen to your system regularly, over time, maybe it'll take 6 months, maybe it'll take 1 year or 18 months, whatever it may be, you will adapt. And that beautiful sound you worked so hard to achieve from the sound coming from your hi-fi system, well, it does not change. Objectively, it will stay the same. It will start to sound to you normal. And it will not have that amazing, beautiful sound you worked so hard to achieve to your ears. It will have become normalized. So I have learned periodically, I switch off my Class A amps. I turn off the Sofia Vergara amp and my Selma Hayek amp. And I play my Class D and my Audiolabs 6000A Class AB amp on my speakers for a few weeks. And my music still sounds beautiful, like Giselle or Scarlett Johansson. And I am happily enjoying my hi-fi system for those several weeks. But when I switch back to my Class A amps, wow, I again get to enjoy with fresh ears just how sexy my music sounds again. I get back that appreciation and that original enjoyment of how beautiful my hi-fi system sounds the way I wanted it to sound. And yes, I have a type. And today is my 4th wedding anniversary. I have been happily married to my beautiful and very sexy Colombian wife. Besos, te amo muchísimo. Salud, mi amor. So, on my 4th wedding anniversary, I think, I guess at this point, let me just take a break and say, let me ask you for your support for this channel. If you enjoy my take on speakers, amps, DACs, streamers, headphones, and IEMs, then I'd like to ask you to subscribe to this channel. And it would really mean a lot to me. And it certainly helps if you click the thumbs up and like the videos. YouTube's algorithm is very sensitive to that. So as I mentioned earlier, I try to stay away from details that you can learn yourself. I think my repeating that info is a waste of your time. I want to instead tell you what things sound like, that specs only describe objective details until we get at home in our own listening environment with our own music. I want to portray to you what my experience is listening. And if you click down below in the description, there will also be a link to my Patreon. If you're able, please support the channel by joining my Patreon. On Patreon, there's a Telegram chat option, as well as a Zoom meeting get-togethers for patrons. So please click the link, the Patreon link down below, and take a look around. Also, I want to make you aware that most, if not, but not all of the links in the description below are affiliate links, and they do not cost you anything when you buy something. But this channel does make a small commission, which makes a big difference in supporting the channel. So the affiliate links are your no-cost way to show your support for the channel. But really, I'd love to get to know you personally by you joining my Patreon. That way, I could get to know you and what your system is at home, and maybe what your Grail system is that you're lusting for, and what piece or segment or part of the signal chain you're looking to upgrade and doing research on. So also, of course, please comment down below on what types of videos you'd like to see. Thanks again for your support of this channel, as always. So that is my 2-year long-term review of the AUDIOLABS 6000A Class AB integrated amp. It sounds beautiful. It's perfectly symmetrical if it were a face. It does not add that sexy hotness that I love in my music, that I listen for, that I want when I play my music, but that's okay. So I want to say thank you again for watching. My goal is to help you reach your hi-fi happy place. But what do you think about this amp? Share your comments with me down below in the comments section. Do you have a preference for Class D or Class AB or Class A solid state or tubes? Let me know what you think. And most definitely, please come back to this channel. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Cheers for now.